So we're going to get started now. Thank you all for coming. This is one of our last evening events of Leeds Poetry Festival, so let's just get started and do some poetry. So we do have a list already of performers, but it has changed through the day, so we might have some slots left at the end, so just let me know if you want a slot and we can see if we've got any time. But we're going to get started with Johnny. Where is he? There he is.
Alright to take this up. Hello, I'm Johnny, and this is Shit Happens. I open my eyes, but my mind's not awake. I've got a big day today, there's a lot at stake. I've really got to make a good impression. Show a lot of love and no aggression, if I'm hoping for progression. But what am I doing still in bed? I mean, after everything that I just said, I'm obviously very misled. I look as if I'm dead. Finally. Oh wait, look away. I'm having a pee. Zip, flop, piss, stop, flop, zip. That was quick. And now I look in the mirror, and what do I see? No reflection of affection, just a half-shaven attempt to correct my neglection. My teeth have that not quite right gleam about them, as if I care, but not enough to clean around them. And now here come the tears streaming down my face, because the last of the toothpaste fell out of place. I'm such a disgrace, and it's gonna be late, and I've got my first date, but I need to hydrate. So I flick on the kettle quick, wait for the little click, hope time stops and the clock's top tick in reverse, because what could be worse than having this curse? On a day like today, on today of all days, any other day but not today, I pray. Now I don't know what clothes to wear, so I look in the pile, and to my despair, they're all fucking dirty and they all bloody stink. I want to wear my favourite shirt, but it's gone from white to pink. So I think, and I think, and I think, and I think, and after roughly 8 minutes of oohing and ahhing, indecisive decisions get kind of boring. So I jump in some jeans and fall down the stairs. Oh, fuck, I say, but no one really cares. And then reality hits, real hard, real quick, that I've got my first date, and I'm gonna ruin it. Unsurprisingly, I'm on the train again, but something inside of me has noticed the change. It's like the rain falls rhythmically as it bounces off the pane of the window. Seriously, something ain't the same. I feel my blood pump consistently as I look out across the plain, catch myself in the window to notice my head's bobbing the same. I wasn't looking in the window to see myself, I ain't vain. It's just we went through a tunnel and the tunnel shows me plain. My face has got me thinking, do I look like my name? Or am I more of a Jason, Jeremy, or James? In the background, I hear some toe tapping. The guy opposite me seems to be nose scratching. The two twins next to me seem to be clothes matching, and I hear something clicking, but it could be distant clapping. At the end of every bar, this is getting kind of bizarre. Maybe I should have taken the car, or even walked. Nah, that's too far. The kid behind me is kicking my seat as if it's to a beat. I want to get angry, call the cops, get some heat. But the beat's kind of neat. He's making polyrhythms with the sound of his feet. Would you like anything from the trolley? No, I'm not a wally. £10 for a Kit Kat. Take a break. No one wants to pay that. Please don't place your feet on the seat. I knew he was going to say that. I'm on a rumbling platform underground, waiting for the thunderous sound of the tube when it comes around. It's a lonely journey in a crowded space. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of a shrouded face. I go to smile, but it's not my place, so I get off at the next stop and continue my race. Now, I'm running late, so I'm walking at some pace. I'm brushing past entities entering my space. These empty vessels, enemies, causing me delays. I'm just searching for an exit through this ever-moving maze. Finally some freedom, so I'm picking up my pace. People looking worried as I'm weaving through the race. I hit a bend too quickly and trip over someone's suitcase. You fucking idiot fool, tie up your shoelace. But make no mistake, it's not people I hate. I'm just running really late from my first date. The situation's escalating. More disapproving stares. I think it's time to exit, so I take the moving stairs. It seems to have crossed the line and done what no one dares. My grammar might be faulty, but so was Moliere's. You see, I'm not stood on the right side. People pushing past me feel like I might slide back down to the bottom, emergency stop signs. So instead I start to run to finish the long climb. I tapped in with my Monzo and out with my oyster. The guy was no help, he just yelled, "It will cost ya!" I need to find the cafe, but all I see is Costa. I checked City Mapper, but it just says I'm lost. But then, I turn a corner, and London disappears. My city heart beats slowly. Seconds turn to years. I take a breath. It's fresher, greener than the rest. A green grove in London breathes life into my chest. And there it is, the cafe. As if it were just fate. But fuck me, it's 12:03 and I'm running rather late. Obviously, there was no need to rush, because I just got a text that she's still on the bus. So why the hell did I kick up such a fuss? But it's all okay, because the coffee looks lush. "Hello," I said, "can I have a cappuccino?" Looking at the machine, wondering where the beans go. It seems slow, and screams flow, and steam rose, and me knows it's time for my high, despite all my lows. That quick caffeine hit, that creamy upper lip. The latte art was pretty, but now it's looking pretty shit. All that effort just to make a swan. I cover it in sugar, stir it, and it's gone. Another caffeine hit. Wipe off the upper lip. The door swings wide, and my first date sits. "Hey. Hey. How you doing?" "Yeah, not bad, thanks. My tea's just brewing." "Oh, right, yeah. Right, oh, nice. Cool." For fuck's sake, now I look like a fool. While she's sat there drinking, I'm sat there thinking. I'm all bottled up and there's no babies to save me. I'm looking at my brew, my sweet tooth's unsavory. I don't mean to be rude, I just don't know what to say. She thinks I'm sweeter than her, but she's sweeter than me. She's putting a sweetener in a cup of tea, and if it were up to me, I would bend the knee and ask this complete stranger to marry me. "So, what do you do at the weekend?" Well, I tend to spend most of my time indoors, but it's not that I'm a bore, I just hate going out. Because I can't conversate, I have to scream and shout and stay out late. And there's that bloody bass line, jumping at the same time, sticky jaws, sticky floors, gurning jaws, the list goes on, there's so much more. "Oh my god, yeah, same here. I'd much rather sit in a pub with a pint of beer, having a deep chat about living in fear and getting kind of cozy because the fire is near. I'm feeling happy with her presence and the fact that she's here, but wait. Now what is this pit in my belly, making me feel a bit sick, unsteady? Has the laxative effect hit me already? I'm politely excused, so I totter to the loos as if my back hurts or my coccyx is bruised. I need to blow off, so I subtly do so. But oh no, this can't be true now. I'm standing hopelessly in a toilet with a stain in my pants. Man, I fucking soiled it. I only had one chance. Then after a couple of minutes, I hear a knock at the door. She says, "Are you okay?" I say, "No, not anymore." My eyes begin to well and I fall down to the floor and she yells, "I'm coming in!" and just bursts through the door and whispers softly in my ear, "I've seen worse before." You see, Annie wasn't like most other people. She liked to see human beings as equals, and I know what happened didn't smell sweet like treacle, and it'd be easy to look at me and think that I'm feeble, but to her it didn't matter that my matter was fecal. As a matter of fact, our date had a sequel. We started spending more and more and more time together, shared our love for music through the ever-changing weather. I'm eating all the food and she's stealing all my sweaters, trying not to be rude whilst I'm writing her love letters. Then every Wednesday night she comes for pizza and we chill, and we can't go into work the next day because we're ill, when in actual fact we're lying naked and we're still catching our breath slowly from the love, lust and thrill. I'm watching season after season through the seasons without reason, watching lives unfold as we cuddle because we're freezing. Our future is untold, but together we are dreaming of the happy families that the TV is screaming, ignoring the fact that they're just actors and scenes, perfect relationships, not tearing at the seams. And ours is too, or so it seems. And this continues for a year or so, and like the trees from the earth, we begin to sprout and grow, nurturing each other like a seed that's just been sown, but in the midst of the leaves, the weeds begin to show. It's like the flame has gone out and now the embers slowly glow. It's like we're looking at the roses and ignoring the thorns. We found shelter from the canopy, but now we're lacking warmth. And the wind is blowing strong and our roots are being torn from the earth beneath our feet, but we can weather the storm. Because everything's great. Yeah, everything's fine. Except you haven't any mates. You're addicted to wine. Well, you're always late. And you're hardly on time. What's with all the hate? Why do you always rhyme? Wait, what? What do you mean? What do you mean you don't like my rhyme scheme? Is this some kind of fucked up dream? I thought we were a fucking team. You were the strawberries and I was the cream. Oh, now you're ignoring me. That's fucking mean. This was meant to be a sonnet. That was the theme. You used to be honest. And now you're obscene. You see, you've got me thinking now. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder. Does love just fade away like the sound of distant thunder? Does love just pave the way for heartache and plunder? Does it make you feel safe and pull the rug out from under? Or can it last forever, like I thought when I was younger? And honestly, I want to believe that it can. But so far, it hasn't really gone to plan. Shit happens for a reason, and now I understand that finding it is hard, like a single grain of sand. You've got to sail several oceans just to even stand a chance. But it takes two to tango, and I really want to dance. So hopefully next time, I won't shit my pants. Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. That was definitely entertaining. Next up, we've got Rosin Alana. Hi, it's Roisin. Everyone tries to pronounce my name, but spelling, Irish spelling is always interesting. That's quite a poet to follow, such storytelling, thank you. Mine's quite different. I guess what I write about is my journey with Tantra, which people often associate with sex, which it fundamentally is about, but in many different ways. So, I'll start with the beginning. This one I wrote after my first retreat in India, and what came through. It's called Unity. Two serpents rise slowly from slumber, aroused by silent whispers of harmonies in ancient accents chiming. Ra, Ma, Da, Sa, sun, moon, earth, infinity. Sa, say, so, hung, infinity, you, with infinity, one. Over and over, writhing waves crash, like the serpents they're called, from wells in forgotten caves, to push through these dams built by small hands in her story. Awake, she beckons, undulating curves, rhythmically weaving, kinetically shaping, creating, calling. The priestess mounts her throne. Tongue now tied with mine, awake, she speaks. Come, my love, let life flow. Let your fears control, let the doing all go. The she-snake can feel now, he's present, right there. Time to rekindle the union and share. Abundance in merger, creation revisioned.
Life yours for the taking, dream if you dare. Receive life as your lover, the real currency of wealth. Health made manifest, God in goddess. The two serpents dance, sensually, symbiotically aroused. The silent whispers of harmony in ancient accents resound. Ra, Ma, Da, Sa, Se, So, Hum. Sun, moon, earth, infinity. Infinity you, with infinity, one. The next one is a little controversial for anybody who may be Christian. So it feels great to be reading it in a church. I grew up Catholic, so I feel like, that probably adds to it. It's called Confessions. Some of you may have heard this before. Descending to the warm, welcoming, womb-like embrace of water. My skin on fire, blood red like the cup of Great Mother. My energy turned on. To Easter, to the sanctimonious date of the earth with her mate. A revelation, some might say, is a sin to begin as we all did, with a bang. Like the start of the universe, the verse sung by Father Christ in chorus, Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done. Like the tides of time, ebbing and flowing, building. Fuck, I cried, resisting, convulsing, his energy transcending any predestined path, melting me like wax, dripping, light penetrating, igniting invocation in divine celebration of rebirth, ecstatic union, communion with all through one, like the sun returning as we chant, man. I really did it. I really gave in that Easter to that so-called Son of God, praying alone at my temple, calling on earth as it is in heaven, with Jesus in the bath. So, through my own explorations with Tantra, I now support other women to feel empowered, I guess. And this is, a calling to women. It's called Clarion Call. Holy woman, you, witch, way do you turn when she calls? Have the almighty temples of tears erected in God's name left shame hidden in cracks once unmentionable? Has your full, whole, holy fucking woman been separated from the spiritual, kept in the dark, poor cunts, dismissed by religion? Holy woman, you, witch, way do you turn when she screams monthly against your own oppression? Do you realize that you're still burning in forgetting that your cauldron called womb contains your power, that the patriarchal attempts at order, at divide and conquer, has created nothing but division? And you, woman, you're being called monthly to be the revision, simply by feeling. feeling the holy rage that burns and pulls, that strips your skin like smoke signals, screaming silently for you, woman, to cleanse and restore the natural order simply by feeling, by fully receiving, loving all of you. You and those ancestral patterns of pain, you and your societal stories of suffering, you and your cauldron of transformation. Your womb is called to burn down Babylon, simply by feeling. So you, holy woman, witch, do not fear the dark, for what's sold is not gold but manipulative greed, a capitalist measure locking tight the treasure held between your legs. An ancient method, biblically told about a virgin, a term distorted, bastardized, literally, to divide and conquer you, woman. To divide and conquer you. Yet the truth underlying all religion is that the unification of God and Goddess rests within, and we together can create our reality, our equality with our own sexuality. So feel, holy fucking woman. You can be the change, the true meaning of virgin, a word from Latin meaning virile, a force forged with masculine, a magnificence divine, an almighty power, understandably feared, for this is when heaven really begins to sing on earth, with equality, through next level femininity, which is you, woman, the second coming. Thank you. It takes a lot for me to get up here, but it's really great to be back and have these events, to feel inspired and to share. I have one more that I'd like to speak, and I guess really this has been my own journey of healing, of reclamation of my own power as a woman. It's called Stitches. Speak from the scar, not the wound, she said many moons ago. But like the tide, it has cycled and has washed out once old hidden treasure. Speak from the scar, not the wound. Her words resound like the call to prayer, echoing in unknown caverns, stimulating response from a long-forgotten voice. I can picture her now, that mischievous, sprite-like lady, her labyrinth of lines telling one story, portal black eyes beguiling, inviting more. I consider my wounds with their invisible scars. The stitches are like tracks, weaved with a will so strong my body aches in remembrance. Every avenue is surrounded. Huge hedges are all I see. It's stuffy in there. The air is a grey mist. Rain-soaked sodom. Dampness clings to my skin. I'm uncomfortable within, my breath short. I'm trapped, circling the outside perimeters of what's become a maze with no way out. Speak from the scar, not the wound. Repeats with a whisper in a voice I search to remember. It's calling me back, and though I can't turn, I begin to feel. Stepping backwards, I retrace my steps, feet like eyes, feeling for each old stitch, my hands unpicking, recollecting the lengths it took. I'm slow, walking this new way backwards, on hands and feet, with vision turned in, Somehow, though, I see the feelings stirred by those whispers are guiding me. The track back's already laid, I simply trust. The word sends shivers, shaking awake visuals of a little girl's hideaway, a gash-like wound of a cave sparkling with treasure, the old lady's black eyes glinting in the darkness. I blink, in a vision flitting through body, feeling, seeing, a little girl lost, trapped, whispering, speak from the scar, not the wound. Thank you very much. I'll hand you back to Poppy. Thanks for such a great week. It's been amazing. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, that was amazing. Okay, next up we've got Kerry, if she's still here.
So this is my first time ever getting up, and say I'm nervous is an understatement. So I'm going to do two little pieces. The first one is called I Do Not. I do not have cheekbones admired. I do not speak with lips that anyone craves. I do not beg for breasts envied. I do not move with hips that sway. I do not glow with sun-kissed skin. I do not climb with legs to heaven. I do not smile like a Hollywood star. I do not always leave a lasting impression. But I do not feel the need to obsess. I do not have the will to care. I do not fill my life with unrest, because I do not think conformity is best. I do not seek to always follow. I do not want to be the latest fad. I do not live life trying to fit in. I do not underappreciate all that I have. So you see, I do not desire to pretend I belong, because I sure as hell know I do not have to play by society's theme song. Thank you. Okay, this next one's called Purpose. Oh. Please spare me the pity, for you feel maybe my womb has been deprived, or my breasts have been starved of purpose. It has taken time, for the crossroads froze me, and as I pondered, begged, and silently prayed, days were suffocating and full of unabandoned longing. Was it society's expectations that held me? I'm not sure. But I have woken to the realization, for me, it's not meant. So please, do not gift me with the compassionate look or battle internal guilt. Do not even cast judgment, for you would not want to know how many weary shoes I have frayed to arrive here today. So yes, I now know it's okay. That I am without child, but I am not without purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry. That was really good. Okay, next up we've got Anne-Marie, who's also asked me to do a little content warning, though there's no sexual content in her poems, wherever she is. Oh, there you are, right at the front.
It's like sexual trauma content, which is maybe a bit less. Yeah. So it's my first poetry thing. I started writing in October, and these two are there. Leaping too far. Fuck, I fucked it. My clinging, dreaming insides dreamed they were galloping free gazelle again. Some lustful, carefree creature, just persisting on the tide of sensation, relishing the power of desire, the safety of you. But I've outrun myself. When sensations drift away, I'm back, not knowing how to be. Old fears burning brightly in my chest, blistering the old scarred skin. What kind of touch is permissive here? You know something's wrong and leave. Darkness crowds round. How deep does this gully go? Teeming with life, old disappointed souls crowd round. Grim fat fishes pressed up, bellies on bellies, vying for space, snarling to be heard. The dark waters, opaque with all they hold, are crashing now, all around me, chucked, chased and slammed, but I'm not quite sinking. Not yet, no, not yet. Just punch after punch comes in the gut where it hurts. My legs barely hold my weight. But there's a cord around my waist, just keeping me afloat. A cord I spent all year twisting in my lap. So I hang on, knowing I won't sink, but praying it won't be long. It's dark down here. So I wrote those in October, and then there was some long winter lockdowns, and that, I don't know, the cord very much snapped, and I got very ill. But after that, I felt I could kind of word what I was going through a bit better. So, yeah. So this is about something that happened when I was 16. I was being crushed by the crushing disappointment of unrequited crushed love, drowning in drunken despair and some fear. The party wasn't a party anymore. I searched through the smoke haze. All the girls had gone. I couldn't find a lift. It was late. I gave in, found a corner, sat down and cried. Defenseless, that's how you found me, and kissed me and led me to a room. And I swallowed your kisses whole and took them for comfort. And then I didn't want it, and you didn't care, and you didn't stop. I couldn't believe it. Kisses gone, bereft, and then I was a mess. The mess by everyone's standards. Always too drunk, always crying, desperate for love, for something. And trading in sex confused when they didn't pay up, locked into a sealed deal no one had signed. That's why you said I was perfect. That's why you said I was beautiful. Lost in euphoria, I'd pay in turn. Another corner of my soul scraped from the jar. Before rape, I had some sad moments of mess, yes, but after every week, like dreaded clockwork, I drowned in rejected inadequacy, groped for sex that felt good, but then descended again, smothered by sex I didn't want. Not knowing the difference. Until my body made me, until it hurt. Every sexual encounter unwittingly fated by the callous neglect of a drunk teenage boy. Learning to matter. Can I? Sorry. Can I start to say how good it feels, that I like it, that what I'm treasuring isn't some slick, hot love. It's the child in me being heard. It's not safe here, she says. She doesn't trust me or you with her bed yet. And somehow listening, you wait. Downstairs, alone for me, with a storybook and open arms. I stop and breathe it in. One night, we've made it into bed, and scrambling to feel the fuck in me, I scramble to undress you. But hearing I don't know what, you wait. Your nose nudging mine into submission like murmured love notes reassures me I don't have to sex you for your love, and I'm flooded. Peace pooling at my knees, shins on the ground, gratitude on my lips, and my heart slows right down. I can feel the fuck in me left town. Didn't watch her go, didn't think it mattered, but you did. The simple, ridiculous, wonderful lesson that it matters. And I can be free for a while. Be swept up, surrendered on a thick hotbed of a sandstorm, relishing you, freedom before unfamiliar hand, sand on skin and land all clumsy. You scoop me up off the floor, into your arms and wait. I stop and breathe it in.
Thank you, Anne-Marie, that was amazing. Next up, we've got Carly.
I haven't done this before, so I'm like properly nervous. Like I get really bad social anxiety. I've been writing a while, but predominantly flash fiction and stories. I'm quite new to poetry. I'm from Newcastle, and I lived away for like 10 years. And when I came back, I moved back in February, and it's kind of like, I don't know, just ignited this Damien and I've started writing poetry, so I'm going to start with one that I wrote about the area where I grew up called St. Joseph Close in Eltic, and it's called St. Joseph's Close. Big dogs with crumpled faces, cropped ears, no tails, fast music with no words blasting from every open window. Lads with no body fat, swigging kinds of lager without shirts. Boys playing footy in the car park, girls dancing too sexy for their age. Mothers smoking on the doorstep, spoiling clean washing on the lines. Cereal, cartoons, Mackie D's for a treat. Hitting the jackpot when Nana's got glass bottles to return for 20p. Provulones, brand new trainers. Damage for a refund after just 1 week. Ice cream van jingles, police sirens. The gargled scream of a woman being kicked in the teeth. You're blooming. You set out to make him give you that love he promised. Birth control went down the toilet. The only pleasure sex offered came after when you'd lay on your back and will a seed to plant itself in your thin sapling trunk. You'd fantasize about a slow-growing bump and how overjoyed the family would be, because who doesn't love a baby? The fuss and attention your news would bring would make up for a whole childhood of neglect. And I could be with you by the end of the year, all pink and needy and maybe chubby, possibly with hair. And he would never hurt you when you were pregnant, and he would never hit you in front of me. Vermin. My uncle spent a lot of time in jail, robbing people, hurting them. My grandma keeps him in food and cigarettes, and she doesn't know he sleeps in the halls of her building when he's drunk his gas money. I stayed at his flat a while after I left home. It wasn't so bad. He'd get me drunk and stoned. We'd take walks through the city late at night, through the places where blood-stained glass crunches underfoot. One night a mouse ran out from under a bin and danced anxiety around our feet. Carefully, my uncle crouched down. He scooped it up in his hands, and the clouds of my eyes parted, and I remembered fields. I wanted to find one and set it free. But as quick as a light bulb pops and leaves a room black, he swung it by its tail and beat it against the wall of a chip shop. The streetlights wheeled in some fairground nightmare, and I felt the earth turn in my stomach. "They're vermin, man, vermin," he shouted. I searched his face a long time, my eyes like frantic fingers trying to save someone buried alive, but what they touched was cold. I turned and I walked, biting my lip as he trailed behind, collecting the fag ends off the street. Those were quite new ones, and I'm going to finish with something that I wrote about 8 years ago. It was just this random poem after the relationship between my daughters, my partner, who I had my daughter with, ended. We were quite young, we moved in together, like that kind of thing. It's called Sucker. Let's buy a house, a big one big enough to hold past resentments and future fights. Let's get an old one in the country, the kind that has a lock on each door and a bomb shelter in the garden where there's somewhere to run when it all blows up. I want one with huge windows, the kind that catch people as they pass and ghost their figures, the kind that kill birds dead. You could pick up their paper mache bodies and throw them in a bin like a chicken carcass. Then we can shake our heads at how stupid they are for letting such blooms sucker them in.
Thank you, Carly. Okay, before we carry on, we're going to take a quick break, so get your drinks in, have a smoke, whatever you need to do, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes. Welcome back. I hope everyone's got a drink and is ready for another set of poetry or spoken word or hip hop or whatever's coming next. Next up, we've got John Harbour Devlin.
Hey, thanks everyone. Yeah, awesome. I'm going to do a couple of poems. Both of them are based upon songs that you may or may not be familiar with. So this first poem is based on a classic hit song from the year 2000. It's It Wasn't Me by Shaggy featuring Rick Rock. If anyone's not familiar with it, this song tells the story of a young man who, he's been doing a bit of philandering, and he seeks advice from Shaggy. But in my version, he doesn't seek advice from Shaggy, he instead seeks advice from the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus. So that's the basis of this poem. It goes like this. O great Heraclitus, I come to you with a problem, a self-infliction. My beloved just discovered me in a compromising position with the girl next door. Picture this, we were both butt naked banging on the bathroom floor. I was caught in the act, and in fact, my excuses were useless. It's fruitless to plead anymore. She deplores all attempts on my part just to speak from the heart and say sorry with sincerity. How could I forget that I had given her an extra key? My son, say it wasn't you. You were already vanished in the flux. Don't you know that nothing is true for 2 consecutive instances? Aren't we just electric charges, pulsations and cosmic rays, a whirring fire of change and contradiction? Any depiction of static permanence is just some strange little trick of the mind, because everything flows and nothing abides, and besides, can we really know what is true? Because what's true in one instant might not be true in the next. With respect, why am I talking to you? The person who brought me this problem no longer exists. His pink mist dissolved in the ether, a brief stint of fever, a blink and you'll miss it example of was and of wasn't or neither. Thanks, Heraclitus, but the thing is, she caught me on the counter. She even saw me banging on the sofa. The evidence is stacked against me, and she seems kind of vexed at me, like I'm some bastard Casanova, but that misrepresents me. Do you really think that this metaphysical jargon will get me off the hook? Do you think she'll forgive me if I search deep within me and beg, or do you think that I've run out of luck? My friend, say it wasn't you. Because when it comes down to it, there is no you. You can't step in the same river twice, because the river doesn't really exist, and neither do you. There are no selves, and there are no things, because the second that I point at a thing and then name it, it's already changed. We're all leaping flames in the cosmos, a molecular mishmash, all morphing and moulding like clay. Sure, but the thing is, I was there, she saw me, and that kind of justifies her anger. I guess I could say it wasn't me, but, it was, and besides, she even caught me on camera. I guess I could try saying, how do you know that was me, love? You've never been great with faces. But to be honest, Heraclitus, I'm starting to doubt your epistemological basis. My friend, say it wasn't you. She can't trust her senses. Reality's complex. If she thinks she can perceive, then I think you can deceive. And if seeing is believing, then you better change your specs. Think of specks of dust and iron rust and atoms prancing past the naked eye, and feel awakened by the truth that there is no truth, no permanence, no you, no I. Listen, mate. I know you're just trying to help, but she's not some doubting Thomas. She's pretty certain about what she saw, and to be honest, you're talking a load of bollocks. It's objective fact that I'm a bit of a twat, and I guess that's that. There's nothing left to say. I'm going to face the music. No more excuses, but thanks for your help, and have a nice day. You're making a mistake, my friend, bowing down to these base and blind perceptions. Accept that the world as you know it is ephemeral, inconstant, despite your mind's deceptions, and that's the truth. I thought you said there is no truth. No, I didn't. Are you telling me that you didn't just say there's no truth while you were banging on about Stardust? It wasn't me. Thank you. I've got one more. It's also based on a song, but it's an older song. If you've got history around these parts, you might know it. If not, I'll explain it to you. But there's an old Yorkshire folk song. It's called On Oakley Moor Bar Tat, which means On Oakley Moor without a hat. If anyone's not familiar, it's a very old song, and it's a bit of a cautionary tale. Basically, it kind of envisions this guy, someone's going out on Ilkley Moor, not wearing a hat, and they catch their death with cold, and they die, and then they're buried, and then the worms come and eat the body, and then the ducks come and eat the worms, and then the people eat the ducks, and it's like the people have eaten the person. So it's a cautionary tale. It's basically wrap up warm in winter, basically. It's the lesson. I was thinking about this song a lot during the first lockdown, and I decided it needed a bit of an update for the COVID era. So this is called On Oakley Moor Without a Mask. Where have you been since I saw you last? On Oakley Moor without a mask. I hate to be the one to ask, but it's pretty disrespectful to healthcare workers that you're treating this pandemic like some kind of circus. Off frolicking in the foothills with your mug devoid of a deterrent against the plague. But I know your game. I know you were sneaking off with Mary Jane, like some cow-hearted Judas garbed in shame and lewdness, all backstabs and daisy chains. And it was peaceful here, but now after this lethal year, you're on the hilltop, unmasking your deceitful sneer to the world, you prick. And it'll hit you like a brick when you catch that disease and all your loved ones get sick. We'll have to bury you right here beside the cow and calf, with couldn't follow guidelines written on your epitaph. Because you treated tier 3 like tier fucking 2.5, like it's all a laugh, running round not following rules, stabbing your friends in the back. But when you're in the ground, the worms will come and burrow and infect your serpent's tongue, laying eggs for their young. And with slithering precision while hissing, they'll feast on your tissues and gums, making holes in your flesh while your grave is still fresh. But the question is, will it be worth what you've done? After all of your cheating, for your mother to know worms are eating the corpse of her favourite son? But here's the sick little kicker. It's a cyclical nature. We were dust, and to dust we return. And from dawn until dusk there'll be ducks come to peck at the dust and the soil and those juicy little worms that have gobbled you up. And these ducks, now they're eating the worms, and the worms have made mincemeat of you, and now the ducks have done too. The food's chain runs a train on your earthly remains, but there's still more to do, because those ducks will make a tasty little roast for our most gracious hosts, the good people of Ilkley, I'm predicting, and they'll serve it with Yorkshires and gravy and stuffing, and it'll be the best roast that's ever existed. Because these folks are the salt of the earth. They don't do things by half, and if I'm honest, and if they're insisting, I might order roast duck myself in the old Cow and Calf, you know, after restrictions have lifted, and then by some twisted, unscripted result, I've indulged in some bloodline divine retribution, absolution for the original sin of your bare naked chin. Worms, ducks, then my guts, evolution. But that's what you get for being reckless, infectious and treacherous. You'll end up in my digestive tract if you carry on running off, messing around with that Mary on Ilkley Moor without a mask. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so next up we've got Finn.
Thanks. I just wanted to say thank you to all the poets who've performed today that I've got to see. It's really nice to see, especially the people who've performed for the first time. Well done. It takes guts. I'm still nervous. Thank you for distracting me from my impending anxiety attack. This one was called Phoenix. I'm playing a social experiment with myself. It goes like this. Hold your head out high, hold your spine straighter. Being bent doesn't mean you have to bend to their agenda, wear your queerness as a weapon. Don't let people tell you it's a weakness, it's your armour, the place you rest your head at night, like screaming through the gaps in the curtains, restless dawns, but I fight back against the thunderstorms. I face lightning and ground it in between my feet. Soft knees, a shoulder width apart, and hey, if it takes Davina McCall to get me through those squats, so be it. I've decided to redecorate and build my walls up stronger. Stand on top of them instead of cowering behind, because everything feels lighter at the top of a mountain, and the climb is always worth it. The strain at the back of your legs can remind you of how far you've come, and fresh water from the falls can taste like freedom. Some poems are born from fire bursting forth from an inner furnace, others begin as a lump in the throat. Words gradually growing on your tonsils till one day they fall out. And the only thing I'll birth is poems, and that's quite alright with me. I sort through the placenta of spare syllables and spear the phrases that sing to me. I remind myself it's okay not to perform while I grow myself from ashes, a Scorpio phoenix through and through, hewed from Yorkshire slates by a London concrete, but refusing to turn myself to stone. I thank black feminism and femmes always for teaching me how to stay soft in a world so full of hate, how there is strength in what is perceived to be weak, how you're nothing without your community, how unity is never far away but still so far away from the Union Jack, how jacked up this world can be but still find hope in holding hands. So I try to make myself more vulnerable, make myself more humbled, make myself keep walking though I stumble, fumbling through this learning and unlearning, yearning for a future where lines are broken down along our borders and hearts can connect without these barriers. Thanks. So I'm a mental health peer support worker, and most of the time I love my job, and it's funny, most people think oh, it must be really difficult talking to people about mental health, so much trauma there, and I'm yeah, it is, but actually the hardest thing is dealing with the services that are supposed to support people, and this week has been an especially frustrating one. So this was written this week. It's called Care Work. Another day of asking myself how I can put care back into care work. We're faced with careless corps that have outsourced and overworked and understaffed to the point of asked by yet another client if anybody cares that there's no food on the table, no tablets in the dosset box, no letters through the letterbox, to tell them that they've reached the top, they finally have gained a spot in therapy that might not even meet their needs. Another day of disconnected calls, of falling recovery rates and more distaste to discharge, of stats that don't reflect the neglect to treat trauma and instead seek a quick fix, ignore the big picture, the person behind the patient, the life behind the list of PHQs and Gad-9 scales, numbers that may pale the significance of the social. Another day of putting out fires of furnaces fueled by the ones appointed firefighters, systems that systematically stigmatize and hide their lives behind linguistic lines, and when faced with cultural competence, shout culture wars and add more bricks to their walls. Another day of frustration at the failure of safety nets at catching the fish that don't fit with the commissioner's brief, of brief interventions, of not enough sessions to allow for the accommodation of needs. Another day of needing knuckles, of battling bureaucrats, of twats at the top whose salaries stop them from seeing what's really important. They are too wealthy and this shit ain't healthy, so fuck your well-being policy. Another night of beating back collapse, of curbing capitalist burnout and casting about for community care, of sharing what I can, and self-care of slipping into sleep. Another night of bolstering my boundaries, of reminding myself I cannot advocate for others if I let an ableist work ethic eradicate what really matters. Another night of remembering to dream, of realizing reality is there to keep me grounded, not to grow. That I must fertilize my fuel with futures I cannot yet conceive, and read the writers that make me believe in change. I moved house this summer, and moving is difficult. It's difficult for everyone, and that uprootedness really. I'm not good with sitting with unsettled feelings, so I'm trying to really remind myself of the positive things, and that's why I wrote this poem. Faux fairy rain of crushed tin cans and empty Burger King. A chorus line of honkingly slow traffic cues, of hold music. Of lullabies of looping tongues my own is yet to find, of children's chatter mixed with chuckles, of clicks of lighters that flick and flutter in the haunting groan of the swing. I worry no one comes to the parts but to party or to pass through. Worry these trees get lonely, park their designated 3 feet apart, parted by litter and unlinked lattice wire. I breathe in. Musty tones of dandelions and dog shit, of curry and coffee and Caribbean food, these red brick back-to-back steel-capped builders' boot scrape boxes spark a different kind of joy from the last 3 years of rituals. There's still red kites fly here. The same pink daisies burst from dirt here. I can make my home here. I repeat it thrice. My home here. My home here. Affirm till it comes true. Map these different paths onto my boots. I can write poetry here. I can see beauty in grey slate roofs under grey skies, in sunlight slanting of shattered glass, in scribbles of writings on walls. I don't have to feel locked in by the gridlock gates before every front door. I can make my home here. I wasn't planning on doing this one tonight, but it feels applicable in this building. I was raised Christian and had a lot of traumatic things happen to me in the church, and it took quite a long time for me to separate people and faith. And it might also be worth saying that I changed my name. My old name was Susanna, and it's kind of about my namesake. Seventh day of rain signals an impending gloom of biblical proportions. My yearly pilgrimage through the shadow of the valley of death. But I gave up hope in a one true God over a decade ago, and all too aware of the fear that evil commands, of how it is just as likely to hide in dark alleyways as in pulpits, or disguised in offers of Bible study sessions and counsel that lead to a separation of body and soul. I'm still communing the two back together 14 years on. And though I was unaware at the time of the story of my namesake, I wonder if there was something that was written in the stars that kept me silent, afraid of false accusations by elders, afraid that I was guilty of tempting him, that there was no Daniel to save Susanna from being condemned. I wonder what the moral teaching of my story would be now, to turn your back on elders and find for underlings and find family, to embrace the shadows as part of you and find they look much less scary when brought into the light, to reject the liturgy that they taught to you in favour of finding your own truth, but also not to tarnish a congregation with the sin of one woman. Thanks for your time, everyone. Enjoy your night.
Thank you, Finn. Okay, next up we've got Rachel. Okay, not Rachel. We've got Jamie.
Evening, everyone. Everyone doing all right? Yeah. It's brilliant to be here for this brilliant event. I'm going to kick off with an anecdote of mine, which is purely based on a real conversation, and it's about a woman's distaste for her men in lycra, and it's written from her perspective. Lycra is the most unattractive piece of garment that could be modelled on a man. Some individuals find it provocatively alluring, but personally, I am not a fan. It is disgraceful. Sorry. Can I start again? Yeah. Sorry about that. Lycra is the most unattractive piece of garment that could be modelled on a man. Some individuals find it provocatively alluring, but personally, I am not a fan. Oh, fucking hell. I know this one as well, done it so many times. Tell you what, we'll go on to the next one. I'm only human. Doreen has heard they have returned in vogue. They are back to being cool. They may not be visually flattering in sense, but big knickers rule. She can't be doing with all of this provocative lingerie. They are nothing but a strand of string. They are only good for you know what, and that is a needless fling. She would rather feel adequately serene. It is more than she can save for some. For women that want to feel fabulous with material stuck up their bum. They slide between the orifice. They make for an uncomfortable grind. There is always a policy of keep your unmentionables intact, and that is to be kind to your behind. So ladies, never mind trying to impress your fellas, or girls, you have to be kind to be cruel. They may not be visually flattering in sense, but by God, don't big knickers rule. Thank you very much. So this is dedicated of having to pay to use the public toilets for a piss, if anyone's encountered that predicament. I wrote this coming back from a gig in London, and I was just mortified how you had to pay to use the public toilets. So I sat down on this Arctic cold bench and I wrote this. It's called 30 pence to have a piss. £30 to have a piss, I'm so skint as it is. All I want is a lousy wee, but you require a 30p. I've got nooks and checks in every range, but they just want my bastard change. All I want is a lousy wee, but you require a 30p. £30 to have a piece, I'm so skint as it is. All I want is a lousy wee, but you require a 30p. I can't believe that's the law, just to pay the urinal whore. I wonder how much a shift would be, just an extra 30p. 30 to have a piece, I'm so skint as it is. All I want is a lousy wee, so goodbye, so goodbye, so goodbye my 30p. Thank you very much. I just want to say as well, I released my debut video book 1st of July, so this month, which you can get. There's only one copy from the back, and it's the last 13, well, a snapshot of the last 13 years as an artist and animator, and my process of delving into my animated imagination. And talking about mental health like Finn did, I do become vulnerable in the book, and I talk about my debilitating manic episodes through my split personality, and yeah, it was very hard being nostalgic about what I went through in the past. So if you like, and if you want to be more educated into mental health, yeah, my book's at the back. It's called The Devil Makes Perfect Creative Hands, and this is just to speak out about mental health, and you just need to speak out more about, yeah. I'm going to finish off with a piece. It's not actually my piece. If anything's taught me to take risks from, you know, what we went through last year, and I just thought, fuck it, I'm going to do it. It's one of my favourite songs, actually, and I heard this narrated from a poet at a spoken word piece. So it's my first time doing it. You know, there's a first time for everything. And I just thought, instead of saying you're going to do it at the next gig or whatever, just do it here on this platform. So it's completely different to what I do, and I'm going to be narrating a spoken word version of You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. I want you to know that I'm happy for you. I wish nothing but the best for you both. An older version of me? Is she perverted like me? Would she go down on you in a theatre? Does she speak eloquently? And would she have your baby? I'm sure she would make an excellent mother. Cause her love back being made wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. No. And every time you speak her name, cause she told me you'd hold me until you died. Till you died. But you're still alive. And I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. It's not fair to deny me of the cross I bear that you gave to me. You ought to know. You seem very well. Things look peaceful. And I'm not quite as well. And I thought you should know. Did you forget about me, Mr. Duplicity? Well, I hate to book you in the middle of dinner. There was a slap in the face. How quickly I was replaced. And are you thinking of me when you fucker? Because the love that you gave that we made wasn't able to make it enough for us to be open wide. No, And every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me until you died? Till you died. But you're still alive. Well, I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. It's not fair to deny me of the cross I bear that you gave to me. You ought to know. Cause the joke that you laid on the bed, that was me, and I'm not gonna fade until you close your eyes. No. And every time I scratch my nails on someone else's back, my God, I hope you feel it. Well, do you feel it? Cause I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. And it's not fair to deny me of the cross I bear that you gave to me. You ought to know. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jamie. Okay, next up we've got India. She's here. Oh no, okay. Next up we've got Samo Yasmin.
Thank you. You hear me? Yeah. So I'm going to do 3 poems, all about this, so kind of content warning for all that stuff. But my first one is called Ode to Meghan, and it's about the situation with Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton. They ask me again why I'm playing the race card, and I tell them I'm not playing. But yes, this is the race card because the media is still separating the black suits from the pack, laughing and calling us blackjacks, always reminding us there's no black in the Union Jack, just black backs. And calling us the United Kingdom was the greatest pretense of Great Britain because we're a nation divided, so undecided when it comes to race. So I tell them, I'm not afraid of playing the race card. When I say strongly that Meghan and Harry leaving the royal family was only partly to do with divorce and America, but every bit to do with race. Because it seems we prematurely rang those bells of progression, too quick to praise the royal family for welcoming change. But Princess Diana died in '97 and these things have not changed. This is not progression, this is blatant oppression. So now I praise Meghan, even more than before for taking herself away from those toxic British tabloids, before they removed her, for valuing her sanity and self-worth over publicity and likability. We chant, look for the signs, look for the signs, look for the signs. A society so obsessed with mental health, but can't you see she's hurting? Can't the media see it's not all sticks and stones and these words really do matter? The black lives really do matter. Baby Archie had only been in the world for 3 days before he was branded a chimp. 3 days old and already labelled. And I've seen countless headlines comparing Meghan to Kate and Kate to Meghan and back again. Fashion, sleek and chic on Kate, but shunned and bashed as too Hollywood on Meghan. And cradling her baby bump somehow made Kate maternal, but then translated as vain when Meghan did the same. Only likened against a white backdrop. I know that's script. The media distorts everything. So you don't have to look for these signs, look for these signs, look for these signs. Just open up your contently closed eyes and read these manipulated tabloids. Open your ears, but don't just hear, make sure you feel. Because this is not subtle, this is blatant oppression, and I really do feel as a society that we're regressing, and I am not here to be that token angry black woman. But this is a conversation that I think we need to be having. Because I'm tired of playing the race card. But you seem more afraid of seeing that card than you are of telling the truth. Thank you. Thanks so much. Very shaking. This next poem is called Grey Area. As I said, I write a lot of this stuff, so another verse one. Black children dream in colour, but live in a racially, biasedly, undeniably world obsessed with black and white. Though nothing ever seems to be black and white, lost in that grey area, where everyone has an image but still no one gets the picture. Only some see this bigger idea. Only some see that the decisions about us have been taken without us. So stop screaming about the riots and the looters, because you can't ever really blame people ignored by society for ignoring society. And I've been struggling to find new words for these same situations, knowing I've exhausted the depths of my vocabulary, painting protests with my words, and I've been crying, reflecting and grasping and clutching, but I found new words to breathe through today. Fresh cuts planted on unhealed, perpetual, generational wounds, first felt by our ancestors and still felt by us. You see, a disrespect to others comes from a discomfort from within. And whilst you live blissfully in ignorance, these words come from the kind of wisdom that only pain can teach. So do you understand your own biases? Your own privileges? Do you understand that we never wanted to be martyrs made hashtags, trending, then forgotten and quietly erased? We just wanted to live equally, to breathe freely. Malcolm X said, "That's not a chip on my shoulder, that's your foot on my neck." And over 5 decades later, there are still knees on our necks. We were born with the world's knees on our necks, closing our throats, crushing our voices and silencing us. But I will not be silenced. So this is for Breonna Taylor, for Mark Duggan and for Sandra Bland, for George Floyd, for Belly Majinga, for Eric Garner and Tarika Wilson, for Trayvon Martin, for Katherine Johnston, Stephen Lawrence, Atiana Jefferson, and for Ahmaud Arbery, and for all those we lost along the way, for all those who didn't get to stay, for all those who didn't get to see their life or their journey taking shape. Remember their faces. Learn their stories. Say their names. Thank you. Thank you so much. So this is my last piece, but I just want to say thank you so much to Poppy and Jack, everybody involved. Like, it's been really, really great. Thank you for having me. Yeah, so this piece is called Intersectional Feminism, and it's one of my favourite pieces. I just find it everywhere. So I hope you enjoy. Stop. Don't tell me that again, because I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me your feminism is intersectional when you use the double broken backs of black women to elevate yourself. Don't tell me your feminism is intersectional when the only time you support black women and black girls is when you see our faces plastered across the campaigns of Oxfam and Comic Relief. When you want to be the white saviour, receive the praise and feel comfortable helping them. Knowing exactly that. It is us and them, and they will never be close enough to have any real impact, to ever shape hierarchies and to alter your position. You'll gladly help those crying, starving faces plastered across your screen, gladly dig deep into your pockets, but you won't help the women here, in your country, and in your city. Tell me why you'll only help the children of Africa, but not the grandchildren of Africa, relocated and replenished in the Western world. Tell me why. She looks at me silent, not knowing how to respond and not knowing when I am calm enough to respond, but oh, I am calm. Because this is not new and this is not a topic only concerning you, this stems from the collective. Black women have been the stools, our backs have been the stepping stones for generations, for decades. And I have spent hours researching this topic, and now I'm hoping you'll understand your actions. So allow me to fill the silence. You fear elevating the black women. The strong black women of our society, you fear us being on your level because you need our backs to rise. You need the stepping stones of oppression, discrimination and marginalisation to reach your glass ceilings and to remain on top. So don't tell me your feminism is intersectional. Because you hashtagged Bring Back Our Girls and you posted shocking stories about the women raped in the Sudan blackouts. Don't tell me your feminism is intersectional because you bought a red nose to raise money for Comic Relief and donate monthly to Oxfam knowing your £5 could provide a starving child in Africa with a hot meal. Tell me how you won't speak out for the black women facing racist, sexist remarks at the office. How you won't comment when the black mothers are the only ones labelled bad mothers. And when the black fathers are the only ones branded absent fathers. Tell me how you remain silent when your daughter calls those black dolls on the shelf ugly. And tell me how you scream black men are violent and threatening, but you're still curious and lustful of their exotic and erotic joking. Once you go black, you never go back. Racial contradictions, dismissals, and omissions. So don't tell me your feminism is intersectional until it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone. Okay, we're going to take another quick 10-minute break before the last half an hour of performances. So yeah, grab another drink and get back here and we'll get going again.
pulls that card out. I'll put that mic up. Yeah.
Hi everyone. So we've got a few more performances tonight. Okay, so we're going to get straight on with the poets now. And first up, we've got Lisa.
Thanks very much. Right. This is a short one that I wrote a while ago. It's called The Poet, fittingly. All right, okay. He took the pen from the heavens and said, I am a poet now. And that he's been searching all of his life for meaning, for something to fill the voids, and he couldn't find it in music, or in laughter, or in the eyes of others. And as he threw out all of his instruments, he said, they all make sense, and that the words keep falling from his fingertips like nothing he has ever known. 1,000 words a minute, 1,000 emotions a page, finally something he felt was his own. I said, yeah, but did you really have to throw out your shoes? But he was already barefoot dancing and shaking his head as if to say, you have so much left to learn. And before I was able to articulate, he took up the night as his muse and wrote me 5 pages on how his life changed in the back of a taxi. And I was a blue-bottled fly, manoeuvring clumsily around objects in a fruitless world, curiously desperate to stay. And I remember him like a prophet of a religion that I just can't believe in anymore. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, next up we've got Paul.
Hello. I'm a poetry stage virgin, so please just bear with me, because I was here, it was yesterday, 3 o'clock, an email dropped into my box that told me about what was going on here. So I booked a ticket and came down and met Poppy and Jack and everyone, and came in here, which is wonderful. I never knew this existed, so it's absolutely fantastic. And it was a wonderful time, wasn't it? We had a great time. And some of the lines stuck in my head, and one of the lines that stuck in my head was a young lad in a really shiny silver top. Quite striking, wasn't he? And he spoke about his mates who had a rock band called Jesus and the very jealous father. Judgmental father, and I just thought that was so funny, and I think that stuck in my mind. And I can see poetry, I love it, but it's been a long time since I've been in touch with it, so it's been great coming down here. Anyway, that line stayed in my mind. Jesus and the Judgmental Fathers was the rock band, wasn't it? And so anyway, I got up this morning, and then I was sitting on the bowl, and something popped out. And it was this poem, pretty much complete, in the round. And so I thought I'd better run and read it to you. It's no great depth or character, but it says something about the fact this church is so wonderful when it's not a church. It's just a fantastic space. I think it's partly because it's just no longer a church, but just a wonderful space. So here we go. I'll have a go. I haven't practiced it, but I think it works. So, the title is On Angelic Flatulence. So, those medieval mystics and monks got angels so terribly wrong when they carp on about the sound of the trumpets of the heavenly host. Perhaps they'd taken mushrooms of the wrong kind, but no, that's not how angels go trumpet, you see. Unlike us, they don't eat food. And while I do not wish to sound rude, all those angelic ring pieces down below were left somewhat dark, hollow. That was until Gabriel let one go. First angelic note was heard, I know it sounds somewhat absurd, but it was such an almighty blast, all joined in as quite a cast of angels all in harmony, all their in pieces, standing out with glee. This was no fart, for it cut to your very heart, so was angel flatulence born. But don't be too forlorn, just think where, when you have passed the holy gates, you too can resonate. You're in peace, in raptures, blasting out some holy chapters, so sweet, so free, as you join the host in glee, when Gabriel hits that middle C.
Sorry, I keep having to lower this because I'm obviously very, very small. Thank you, Paul, that was really, really good. And next up, we've got BB.
Good evening. I've never done this before. But it's been pretty amazing being in this space and seeing how vulnerable and raw everyone has been. And it has inspired me to get out of my comfort zone and do something that I would usually shit myself at thinking to do. So here's to being vulnerable. This is about an abusive relationship, and it is called My House. Falling in love, we all live for it. The intoxicating dance of unraveling yourself, the fumes of a spark finally taking flight, and currents running through your veins that last time you checked were fast asleep. You have found that person, and so there you hand over your master key that unlocks all of the rooms that live within your chest. I gave mine away willingly and invited him in. He loved the pieces I've been collecting over the years. He stroked the parts that were sore. He even peeked through the keyhole of where I kept Balthazar firmly locked away. No room was the same as the other. Some had sunlight, some didn't. Some rooms were full and some echoed. I'd never really shown anyone my house. But God, did it feel good to finally invite someone in. One night, I went to bed and he stayed awake. When I closed my eyes, he decided to sneak into my house. The walls began to shake and I couldn't quite understand what was happening. I awoke to find he had destroyed my pieces of pride. And there he was in my front room, drinking the Balthazar and laughing at my book of sorrows. He pressed his fingers into the raw parts of my walls and ripped out the fleshy wood that was trying to heal. The windows shattered and the sunlight went away. He sparked his cigarette, drunk as hell on his anger, and threw his flames towards my most loved room and burnt my house to the ground. He told me he was sorry. The words sounded so nice. He asked me if he could have the master key back. But when you burn someone's house down, how do you expect to open the door when there isn't one? So I'm rebuilding a new house, far away from here and far away from him. Falling in love, we all live for it. I still do. And I know next time, this time, it'll be my forever home. Thank you.
Thank you, BB. That That was really, really good. And next up we have Max.
Thank you. There we go. Yeah, this has been really lovely. I didn't realise this was on until a friend of mine sent the open mic thing and said, go do it. I'm here now. But yeah, I think the poetry's been incredible, and this is my first time doing a little bit of poetry. And hopefully, what I have written is a poem. You can let me know at the end. I've just got the one, but it is a collection of poems, and they seem random, but I promise there's a plan. But don't feel any pressure to clap in between each one, because we'll be here all night, and save it to the end so I earn it. But yeah, a little bit of a content warning. There is a description of assault in it, so just letting you know. But without further ado, I guess we'll get to the poem. Gerald turned to Michael, his best friend, confidant, and lover, and told him it was over. I can't do this to me wife anymore. Worry not, said Michael, removing his mask and revealing he was in fact Joan, Gerald's long-suffering wife. Gerald was confused. He didn't realise he was in a Kate Bush song. Arthur's legs turned to jelly as he leant in to kiss Samantha. This disappointed Samantha as she was a vegetarian. The little engine chugged along. It said hello to the trees, hello to the sky, hello to the people that were passing it by. It didn't say hello to Timothy, the eccentric forklift. Not after what he had done. The limp body of the clown was fished out of the ball pit, covered in bite marks and sticky from Ribena. It's such a shame, said his union rep, as they fit his and several other bodies into a smart car. He was a week away from retirement. The gnome fell, spiralling through the air, his little fishing rod fluttering in his hands, wind screaming in his ears, unprotected by his little gnome hat. He landed butter side down. He stares at me, dark thoughts lurking in the backs of his eyes. I don't know why he's angry. I prepare myself. The badger dusted himself off, took a step back, and admired his handiwork. What a wonderful dam he had built. The beavers were royally pissed off. The pub was bustling, and Martin was trying very hard to impress Beatrice. He made a joke, she winced. He went bright red and shrunk down to the size of a mouse stood on his hind legs. Roger, a massive twat, picked him up, put him in his pint glass, and downed him in one like that scene with the goldfish from Skins. Beatrice took Roger home that night, and Martin couldn't sleep because his walls kept shaking. The dogs barked at each other, viciously, as the children cried. What odd nativity, the parents thought. I raise my hands and try not to grimace as he tears at my skin. His nails dig into me, piercing me. He doesn't stop for hours. I try to protect him from himself and myself from him. I succeed in one and fail at the other. Father Christmas was very hungover. He had already wrongly assumed that one of the children's mothers was their grandmother, and had inadvisably began singing Rammstein instead of one of the pre-approved Christmas songs. This was all before his morning break. When it arrived, he sat sweating over his black coffee and wished he'd become an accountant. The Dodgems swerved around each other. Shrieks of joy and excitement bounced off the mesh bit that sparks every now and then. No head-on bumping, warned the timeless voice. Its words fell on deaf ears. Two carts collided, head-on, and Bertie and Susie flew from their seats. Became entangled in the mesh, sparks bounced along their bodies. The Dodgems stopped, and the surrounding area suddenly smelled of hog roast. A cat ate a mouse and died. I stopped protesting. There's only so many times you can say the same thing and be ignored. I think of better times and try to direct him to objects that won't hurt me as much if he uses them. The boys were all in the yard, demanding milkshakes, frothing at the mouth. Jess didn't have the heart to tell them that she was lactose intolerant. The child fell from the monkey bars with a shriek and a spin. His legs sank into the sandpit. He's still there today on his 30th birthday. His eyes have glazed over, and his mind is foggy. He begins to tire and relents. He gets into bed and falls asleep. When he wakes up, he won't remember any of this. Two gooseberries go up and down in a lift and can't shake the feeling that someone, somewhere, is talking about them. I hold myself, run my fingers over the scratches as the water runs down my body. I shake. I close my eyes and he is there. I open them and the shampoo stings. I know he will be there tomorrow. I know it will be the same. I think of ways to stop it, stop him, and one sticks in my mind as I force myself to sleep, waiting for the alarm to call me back. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. And unless I have completely missed anybody, that is the end of our open mic tonight. Give me a huge wave if I've totally missed you off the list there. Okay, amazing, I've done my job. Thank you all so much for coming. This entire week has been amazing. We still have a day full of events tomorrow, so I hope I see a few of your faces again. But yeah, finish your drinks, enjoy the rest of your night, and thank you all for performing as well. It's been an incredible evening.
Literally holding it.